morning, everybody. Welcome to So You Want to Know More About AI. My name is North. I'm a volunteer coach, trainer here with the SCTC. And today's presentation is, well, as you should see on your screen now, a hands-on workshop to get started with AI. If you are new to AI, this is the class today to give a little bit of history about how we got to where we are, and a look ahead at what we can expect here in the near future. And then at the end, we're going to go over some hands-on stuff. So with that, let's get started here and we will talk about what we're talking about today. What is it? We're going to talk about a history of AI. We're going to talk about how to use it safely. We're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to prompt versus the old school searching that we used to do on Google. The prompting is really the future of how we look for data using AI, and then we're going to do some practical exercises, and I'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end here today. So with that, let's get started. Here's the goals for today. We have two. Number one is we're going to minimize the fear because we understand that there's a lot of confusion and anxiety and fear about AI. So we're going to address that because really the fear is drawn from the unknown. Oh my gosh, what is AI? What does it do? How do I use it? And so that's the first thing. We're going to address the fear and the unknown, and then we're going to build that comfort level by understanding what AI is, what it isn't, and how do we use it. So that's the goal for today. So if that's what you want to learn today, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get to it. What is AI? AI, artificial intelligence. Well, it's basically one of the most advanced technologies and fastest growing technologies the human race has ever seen. The adoption rate for AI has blown away any other technology before ever, including cell phones and the internet. AI has done in 3 or 4 years what other technologies it took nearly 2 decades to accomplish. But before we understand where we are now, let's see where we came from. We've got basically three types of AI that we are dealing with at this point. We're already aware of the weak AI, aka also known as the dumb AI. It can only answer simple questions and perform basic actions based on predefined commands only, one task at a time. You may have a smart device in your house, whether it be Google or Alexa or Apple. Historically, it was only something like, Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, what does the weather look like outside? It can only give simple answers based off of predefined. So basically, I like to call them verbalized Google searches. And that is weak AI, where it doesn't have that ability to think and reason and handle complex queries or questions. And now we are in the world of strong AI and getting stronger by the day. What this AI can do is it can create content, whether it be audio, video, paintings, music. It's really good at pattern recognition. For those of you that were here in pre-show banter, we talked about AI being very, very good at parsing massive amounts of data, identifying patterns in the data, monitoring the flow of data. It's also the current AI, the strong AI, if you will, is really good at complex problem solving without human interaction. This is where it summarizes and contextualizes large amounts of data that historically we had to go, query certain things and then build out we'd have to summarize and build the data in a consumable fashion based off of our efforts. But AI is now able to do that very, very quickly for us. And one of the things that we're trying to avoid, however, is the too strong AI. This is something that we don't want to do. For those of you that are sci-fi fans, this is an image of the Terminator from the Terminator movies, where AI became self-aware. And if you're familiar with those, nope. Just no, we don't want to get to that point. We're building AI in a safe manner to where it doesn't turn into Skynet. For those of you that know that story, this is how we get Skynet, is developing AI too fast without the proper guardrails. And the AI, we're trying to make sure that it stays within proper confinement. So that's what the AI, the brains behind AI right now are trying to do, is give us just the proper amount of strength without allowing it to grow to be
Yeah,
too strong. So, so let's talk about the history. AI is nothing new. I mean, I know
definitely.
it's uh, It's been around for a few years, specifically since the 1930s and 1940s. If you've seen the movie The Imitation Game, Alan Turing was the godfather of
Hmm.
AI. Um, and if you have seen that movie, you know that Alan Turing created the Enigma machine, or created a machine to break Nazi code back in the day. And today we still use called the Turing test. So if you ever go to a website where you have to click a box to prove that you're human or type in the number, that's called a Turing test. And that's what Alan Turing created, was how do you prove that you're not a machine? And so now we still use those today. So that was back in the 1930s and 1940s. Jump ahead a couple decades, we're now talking in the 60s to 1990s, where we've had chatbots since the 60s. We've had self-driving cars since the 70s and 80s, and IBM Watson came out in the 1990s. So again, this is just to show you that AI, although is really impressive now, it has been around for a while. And then jumping back to the 2000s to present, that's when we started to see machine learning really develop with LLMs, or large language models, and then neural networks. If you're not familiar with LLMs, machine learning and neural networks, wait 2 slides and you'll have a full understanding here in just a couple of minutes. So with that, let's talk about the generations of AI. We're actually in fourth generation right now. First generation from the 50s to the 80s is good old fashioned AI, or GoFi AI systems based on explicit rules and logic, if then computing environments, relied on predefined rules to make decisions. It didn't allow it to, the good old fashioned AI didn't have the freedom to create and build based off of context. It was only able to answer questions based on very specific rules. So then we've got the second generation, which was from about the 1980s to 2010. This is when machine learning really exploded. Systems learned from data rather than predefined rules, started using learning trees or decision trees. If this happens, then this happens. And then so the decision trees really started to proliferate during this period of time. And that's when we got IBM's Deep Blue. And some of you may remember the Chessmaster 1997, the first time a machine beat Kasparov in a chess match. That was late 90s, early 2000s. And then flash forward to generation three, where we've got deep learning, allowed computers to process, parse, and reference massive amounts of data quickly and efficiently. This was when we saw Google's AlphaGo, also World Go Champion in 2016. So AI, there was a really big hockey stick around the early 2000s to 2010s, to where the capabilities of the machine really took off. And now we are in the fourth generation, which kicked off around the 2020s. And we are now currently in the fourth generation. Work on third generation really kind of dying out, because generative AI is now the big thing everybody's talking about. Generative AI can create new text, images, music. It learns from previous experiences. So this is what makes fourth generation AI different than any other generation, is its ability to learn. It's called heuristic learning, where it learns from its previous interactions with people, with its experiences with other systems. We saw OpenAI's ChatGPT, born in 2020, and Google's Gemini, also shortly after that, born in 2021. And we're already up to, I think, the fifth generation of ChatGPT and fifth generation of Google Gemini, which are the two big players. We've also got a few other players in there that we'll talk about, but that's kind of the timeline, what we're looking at from the 50s to present day. We're currently in our fourth generation of AI. But where are we now? What is artificial intelligence? So after today, you can answer this question. It simply is this: the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. So that is, in one sentence, what artificial intelligence is. Again, the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. So now that we've got that, let's talk about the capabilities, its ability to make decisions, the problem solving, the pattern recognition. Before we move on, there's some terms that you're going to want to know. The first one is algorithm. You may have already heard this term, but if you haven't, All algorithm is a fancy name for step-by-step instructions. It breaks down tasks into step-by-step sequences. An example would be like a sorting or a search algorithm. Google search is a great example of an algorithm. It's going to take the words that you type in and then search and sort by the answers for what you're looking for. So an algorithm is nothing more than step-by-step instructions that computers need to do what they do. Now, machine learning, or ML, if you've seen that acronym, these are collections of algorithms, so collections of step-by-step instructions trained on large sets of data to learn patterns and make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed. Because again, early AI, you had to program. The machine could only do what it was programmed to do. Well, machine learning broke it out of those constraints. This is now it allows machines to make predictions or make decisions without being explicitly programmed to do so. And then we've got NLP, which is natural language processing. So if you, again, we're giving you these acronyms so that you understand what they mean when you come across them in your own research regarding AI. So NLP, natural language processing, it focuses on interactions between humans and computers through natural language. It allows machines to understand, interpret, and communicate with us more freely and more naturally. Hence the name, natural language processing. So tied to that is what are the LLM. Those are large language models. Now, this is a type of AI model designed to understand and generate human language. And so this can be any language. It can be Spanish, it can be English, it can be Portuguese, it can be Italian. The LLM is basically the AI model that is designed to do one thing, and it's engage in natural language processing to allow the machine to communicate with us more naturally or more human-like. So, and then the last thing that you'll want to understand is the neural network. This is something that is talked about with AI and LLMs. The neural network basically is we'll call it the computer's attempt to synthesize the human brain. And this is a series of algorithms that attempt to recognize relationships in sets of data the way our brains do. And this is the neural networks use what's called deep learning. So that may be something that you hear along the way as well, deep learning. And it's just the machine's attempt to synthesize our complex human brains on how we can take data from past experiences, take very little context, and make predictions and decisions based off of our heuristic experiences throughout our life on data that we come across. So neural network, the machines are trying to copy our human brains. So that's basically what a neural network is in a nutshell. So if you're not confused yet, then you may have only tuned in on slide 3, because most folks, by the time they get to this slide, they're like, NLP, LLM, natural, what? So this is a lot to digest early, but I just wanted to make sure that you were at least familiar with the common acronyms, so that we could lay the foundation. And now that we've got the foundation of what AI is built on, we can start building the house of how we're going to use it. So with that, let's get going. Let's get to part 2, how we learn. And this is the one slide that I wanted to point out, how we learn. Humans learn through peer-to-peer interaction, like you in this class today. I am teaching you, the 20 or 25 folks that are here today, and it is peer-to-peer, one-on-one. Even though I'm teaching to multiple people, this is how we learn. We each learn individually at our own pace, in our own way, and it can be cumbersome and can take a long time. Some of us learn concepts faster than others. Some of us are better at math. Some of us are better at art, but we each learn in our own individual way. Now, one of the things that this is where I mentioned the extra slides that we've got, because this slide we generated in 2024. This is a Gemini image. So I'm going to go through and show you how far image generation has come. So if we do the same slide, this is the 2025 slide. Again, we each learned at our own pace in our own way. And then here's the 2026 slide. Okay. So you can see how the quality of image generation has improved even over the last 18 to 24 months. So again, it's the same slide with new images. So we can see we've got Gemini, that's Google. And then on the right, we've got CoPilot. Both of these images were generated last month. And you can see that, Gemini, from my eye, Gemini's pretty good. They've got really good photorealistic imagery here, where Copilot, it's still better, but Gemini actually can make more complex photos. I asked it the same thing. The prompt was, generate a picture of somebody teaching AI safety for seniors, and Gemini produced the picture on the left. Copilot produced a picture on the right. And I don't know, in my opinion, I think Gemini is just a little bit better than Copilot right now at image generation, simply because of the complexity. A few years ago, you could tell an AI photo because the hands, AI couldn't do hands very well. There were a few things that you could tell that an image was AI generated, but now the only way that you can really tell if an image is AI generated is most AIs will have the AI logo in the corner. Now, if that's posted on a website, they can cut that, they can trim that out. But if it's an AI generated content, the image will generally tell you that it's AI generated. And I use that term broadly. Generally, it will let you know. So let's talk about how AI learns. And this is where it's really an unfair fight. Okay. One of the things that we are up against with the strong to too strong AI is how machines learn versus humans. We talked about how humans learn one-to-one or in group settings at their own pace. Well, AI learns through what's called collective learning, through training data, through data sets and data lakes, just massive amounts of data. And the one thing about an AI system is every system, that heuristic learning, it learns from past interactions, but it happens globally. So we'll use an example of I'm using my AI and I have an interaction and it learns from my interaction. Well, that AI is tied into its larger system. So everything it's learning from me, it's also teaching to every other AI agent or AI endpoint attached to that data. So that's what makes AI learning so incredibly fast is it can learn when one system learns, every system connected to that data source learns at the same time. And this happens very, very fast on a global scale. So that's what makes AI learn so quickly is it isn't just that one-to-one, it's every system that AI touches, it learns from. So where are we as far as how close AI is to the human brain? Now, I'm going to use this parameter as basically like a neuron for our brains. The human brain has over 300 trillion neurons or parameters. And again, I'm using that term loosely. ChatGPT, when it was third generation, which is about a year and a half ago, it had 175 billion parameters. So still a long way off from mimicking the human brain. Well, GPT-4 had 1.8 trillion, and they just released GPT-5, which is roughly about 10 trillion. So if you look at that, it's about a 10 time to 100 time leap each generation. So they're saying that theoretically, AI will be able to mimic the human brain in capacity, in capabilities by 2030. And my watch says it's 2026, which gives us 4 years before AI is actually able to synthesize a human brain in functionality. So we're in for a very exciting ride over the next few years. So AI learns collectively and it learns fast. Here's what AI has been able to do. Generation 4 was born November 30th, 2022. That's when OpenAI released ChatGPT, which completely stormed the world. November 30th, 2022, we're now 2026, and the adoption rate for AI, just to give you an idea, the last technology that had the fastest uh, adoption rate was the cell phone. The cell phones came out in the mid 90s. By 2010, 2015, it had reached about 80 to 90% adoption on the planet. It took about 14, 15 years to go from the first cell phone to everybody has it. AI, it took, now again, November 30th, 2022 is when it was turned on. It's now February 2026, about 2.5 years later, we've already hit over 90% adoption for AI. So it did in 3 years what the last technology took about 15. So not only does it learn fast, it's proliferating. It's the adoption rate of it is mind-bogglingly fast. So let's talk about what it's done already. In the 2.5 years since GPT was rolled out, it's passed the bar exam. It's passed the medical licensing exam. This SAT scores average 1410 out of a perfect 1600. So this is what AI has already accomplished. And this is actually old news. They did this in the first 18 months that it was around. So these stats are not new. In healthcare, this is exciting because AI has successfully detected and diagnosed medical conditions, helping doctors and researchers. This is really, really fascinating because I work in the medical industry. And one of the things that we've been watching over the past couple of years is AI's ability to parse imaging, radiology, like X-rays and CAT scans and MRIs and things like that, where historically a doctor would only be able to look and base the decision and the diagnosis off of that doctor's experience and his peers' experience. So maybe a couple thousand cases, maybe 10,000 cases at most. Well, AI is now able to parse millions of cases quickly and create that comparison and that well, hey, I've seen this type of image in these 45,000 cases or these 100,000 cases. So it's not making the diagnoses for doctors, but it's allowing doctors to parse hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cases to make better medical decisions because the AI is helping doctors look at much more data to make much more sound decisions. So AI is making a huge jump in healthcare simply because doctors are able to parse more data and query more data faster than they historically were able to. In education, this is really exciting because AI and virtual reality create immersive learning environments, intelligent tutoring, and assisting teachers with learning outcomes and grading. So this is kind of interesting because a few years ago I went through CSU and got another degree, or got my bachelor's in IT and cybersecurity. And the last year that I was there, AI was really proliferating in aiding not only students but teachers. And there's arguments on both sides of the fence. Well, AI is not, it's going to negatively affect our students, but depending on whatever your stance is, AI has impacted education in the past couple of years, and it's going to continue to do so as we move forward. And then government, we're not going to get too deep in here, but it definitely needs help with efficiencies, definitely needs help with security and improved accessibility. So AI is going to change the way that we interact with our local governments, our municipalities, our federal government, things like that. So government is hopefully going to see some really great benefits from the efficiencies that AI is going to bring to the table. So, but how smart is it? This is the question I get a lot. How smart is AI? So I've broken this down into a couple of different categories. So let's talk about common sense and logic. Common sense and logic, it's currently operating at about a fourth to sixth grade level. So when you're interacting with AI, if you're asking it to give you a sensical, or if you're asking it for logic, it is operating at about a fourth to sixth grade level when you start interacting with it, because that's the one thing with AI is once you start interacting with it, it only knows what it knows from its training data. It doesn't have any experience between you and it. So it's going to start at about a fourth to sixth grade level for logic and common sense. Now, math and verbal. This is where we start to see it progress. Math and verbal. AI right now is about ninth grade to post grad levels between math and verbal. When I started using AI my last year at CSU, the math was about seventh to eighth, maybe ninth grade. So it's come a little ways in the past 18 months, but verbal reading is post grad because again, it's very good at language. So verbal and reading, it's far advanced. It's far let me see if I can pick the word here. It's really, really good at anything having to do with language and verbal. However, math, it is at about ninth to 12th grade level right now, and it is improving. Advanced reasoning. Now, this is interesting. So sense and logic is different than reasoning. Okay. So advanced reasoning, it's at college to PhD levels on advanced science and chain of thought processing. We're going to talk about chain of thought here in just a moment, but its ability to reason Now, again, reason is different than sense and logic, but the reasoning, the chain of thought is post-advanced, PhD level. So AI is very, very, very good at some things, not so good at others, but the one thing that excels AI is there is no human on the planet that can keep up with AI's ability to work with languages. The AI has a vast vocabulary across almost all known languages, and there is no human capable of matching AI's control over language. So it doesn't matter what language, it doesn't matter the slang. The AI's ability to work within languages is staggering, and that's really what it was built to do. So if we can get all the pieces dialed in, then AI is going to be very, very powerful. It already is, but it's where it's lacking right now is the sense and logic at a fourth to sixth grade level. Math still has some work there, but as far as reasoning and languages, it's already surpassed humans in every way possible. So let's talk about the classifications of AI. Where are we now versus where we're going? Okay, we just got out of reactive machines where it was narrow. It was narrow functionality, really had no memory, had limited reactions, and it couldn't learn. So those are our generation one. Those are our Alexas. Hey, what time is it? What's the weather outside? It can't learn from past reactions. It can just answer direct questions. Those are going to be your smart devices like the Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistants. Generation one. Now, with limited memory, the next classification that we are currently in, that's where we are at right now. And that it heuristically learns, which means it learns from past interactions. It learns your likes, it learns your dislikes. It improves over time and it's adaptable. It's very good at pattern recognition and it again learns from the past. That's the key is they are learning machines. These are going to be your ChatGPT and most current AI tools are limited memory where, as the term implies, it's going to have a limited memory based off of what the interactions have done in the past. And again, most of our assistants now have that limited memory, that Gen 2 or Gen 4 actually AI that, before it could just give us answer to a single question where now we can give it chains of questions and it can parse and sort through a complex question. So we are now smack dab in the limited memory coming up. And this is what's called narrow, not to be confused with weak. Narrow AI just simply means that we've allowed it access to a very narrow bandwidth of data. Okay, so narrow AI. So this is currently where we are at. We are in this bracket right now. Now the next phase is called theory of mind, and that's when AI is going to get really interesting. It's going to be able to interpret and predict human emotions, beliefs, and intentions. This is where sci-fi is really going to come into play. If you've ever seen any movie like I, Robot or The Minority Report, that's really kind of interesting where human emotions can be predicted and the beliefs. That's the really interesting thing. But theory of mind is the next phase. That's the bridge to self-aware when we get to machines that are self-aware of their own existence and they become their own consciousness. Basically, next phase, theory of mind, the AI will be able to mimic the human mind and interpret emotions, which can be exciting, but also a little scary there. So that's going to be when you hear the term Gen AI, there are two breakdowns of Gen AI. You've got general AI, which we are very, very close to a general AI, but then generative AI. So when you hear somebody talking about Gen AI, you'll want to clarify, are you talking about generative, where that's currently where we are now, versus the general AI, where we enter into theory of mind and then beyond. And then once we get to self-aware, that's where the sci-fi, the super intelligent AI or the super AI comes in. So where are we now? We are currently on that timeline. We are just about to cross over into general AI. We're a couple of years away from it. We've got some technical issues that the AI manufacturers have to overcome before we can truly break into general AI. But we're on that cusp of going between narrow to general. So what does that mean for us, the future of AI? What you're like, Great North, I've got a history lesson and I know where we are and I know where we're going, but so what? What does that mean? So Is AI, the number two question I get is AI going to replace humans? And the answer is yes. In some cases, it already has, and it's going to. Repetitive, low skill jobs are already being replaced with AI automation. I can probably ask everybody to raise their hand, but probably everybody here has encountered AI in one shape or form over the last 12 months, whether it be a chatbot on a website, on an app on your phone, or you've played directly with one of these AI models. Everybody has already interacted with AI, whether they know it or not, and it's only going to get more and more. And I'll speak to the healthcare industry, how AI is changing the way that business is done here in just a few minutes. But right now, the future of AI as far as business goes is just going to be improved customer service interactions. And I'm going to use air quotes here, improved customer service, because I'm not sure which is worse right now. Calling somebody and getting that automated tree where it's like, press one for this, press two for this, press three for this, and then it hangs up on you. So AI is supposed to smooth that out and make that better, our customer service experiences and interactions. The one thing that it is already doing is it is breaking down language barriers. Again, the translators, there's no longer need for translators if we've got AI that can speak in normal human pace. If you go to an emergency room and you're in a, like, for example, I'm going to be traveling to a country where I don't speak the native language, but I'll be able to go to an ER, speak in my native language, and the interpretation to the healthcare team there will be instantaneous through the AI bot. So that is one of the things that's going to be huge in the business world. Medical diagnosis, as we talked about that, treatments and cures, and efficiencies in data analysis. That's going to be a huge, huge thing. As far as entertainment, this is where it gets really interesting because, Netflix has already got AI algorithms that are helping curate your viewing list. Amazon Prime does the same thing, where it's going to suggest content based off of your previous interactions, your music, your images, your videos. It's gonna change the way we play video games. It's in the fact that it's going to have generated content in games and puzzles. And this is what's really interesting is you'll actually become the star, where your face, your voice, your likeness can be part of the entertainment environment that we're going to experience in the future. Personal assistance and content summary is going to just absolutely explode. It's going to become so very easy for us here in the next few years to look for exactly what we want without having to dig through a bunch of results, because the AI is going to give us exactly what we're looking for, exactly when we're wanting it, and more importantly, why we're asking for it. So for the social side of things, this is really interesting because it's going to change the way that we engage in companionship and conversations. We've got AI assistants now that are so much more than just a talking pod. They've actually got personalities, and we've been looking at reports and studies about mental health, and that companionship and conversation between therapeutic AI models. Again, breaking down language barriers. We talked about translation services and assistive technologies, and I just realized that I'm missing an S in assistive. Pay no mind to the typo. Apparently, this is a human-generated slideshow, not an AI-generated slideshow. So I will fix that typo after. But anyway, this is what the future of AI looks like for us. So let's get to part two. Now that we've got the history, where we are, where we're going, let's talk about how we use it today, right now. How are we doing on time? We've got about a half hour to an hour left. So bottom line, there's not a whole lot of rules to participating in AI safely. There are a couple of things that you want to understand when interacting with AI. And the first one is, what is the difference between a smart device and an AI device? Okay, I'm sure that you've heard things like smart TVs, smart devices. There is a very clear-cut difference between one to the other. So let's talk about smart devices. A smart device is simply a device that connects to the internet via either an internet cable, or it can be a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi connection, and basic automation. It can do stuff like on, off, like your smart light bulb, for example. You can, with your voice, you can turn your light bulbs on, turn your light bulbs off, dim them to 20%. Hey, turn the light bulb on in the living room to 100%, or dim it to 35%. It may or may not have voice control, but the other portion of a smart device is there is always an app associated with it. So that's one of the things where you've got a smart home. You may have a Google Hub or an Apple Home, but to set up the device, you're going to have to get the app for that specific light bulb or ceiling fan or smart TV before you can pair it to your AI powered uh, HomePod, whether it's Google, Alexa, or Apple. So that is what a smart device is versus what AI is. So again, smart devices, internet connected, they have Bluetooth connectivity. They are able to function with basic automation, and they require a base app to get started. And some may or may not have voice control. So that's it. That's what makes a smart device is it's got an app powering it on the back end. Now, AI tools, that is a completely different story. So what AI tools are capable of doing are completing complex tasks. As we've seen on chatbots on websites or in apps, they can make decisions based on past interactions. They're learning and can understand content uh, or context in the request that you're making. So if you make a request for recipes or travel advice, it actually understands why you're making the request. It's not just going to do word matching and give you all this data based off the words that you use. It's going to read the words, and by the context of the words you give it, it's going to be able to curate that information much more effectively to our specific needs at that time. And, this is why this slide is a little bit out of date because currently being integrated into more things. When I wrote this in 2024, 2025, the integration was happening. Now AI is integrated in almost everything. It's just understanding where am I using the AI versus when I'm not using the AI. And what's really surprising is most times you're going to be working with AI almost all the time now, rather than old school technology. So this slide is it's AI is integrated into almost everything. So I want to talk about the difference between vendors and models here real quick because a lot of folks are confused about, well, I'm using AI and what's the difference between vendors, products, and tools. So we'll talk about OpenAI is a good one. So everybody's ChatGPT, that is actually the model you're working with. That model is managed, curated, and designed by a company called OpenAI. Okay. CoPilot, which you may see in Microsoft Edge or any Microsoft Office product, Microsoft is the vendor, the product is CoPilot. Okay. Now here's the other interesting thing. I want you to pay attention to this because this is gonna help you identify which vendor I'm using versus which model I'm using. I use this example here because OpenAI, if you look at the left here, you can see this icon. Okay. On the right, we have two different models. We've got GPT-4, which has the same OpenAI icon, but we've also got Dolly, which is also an OpenAI product. Okay. So that's where we can see, okay, the vendor is OpenAI, but the model you can work with either ChatGPT-4, which is a large language model. It's a chat interface, but Dolly is actually an image generator. So that is a specific designed AI model that specifically does pictures and image. But both of them are owned by OpenAI and curated and managed and run by the company OpenAI. Now, Gemini, that's Google. Google has Gemini. And then Perplexity is another one where, again, it's got the same logo, but Perplexity does a chat generator, an audio generator, a video generator. But you're going to want to look at the icons because you can see which company is using them. So each AI has their own unique logo. If it's a vendor of an AI model, and then the models themselves. So keep an eye out. The big three right now are Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI. There's also, like I said, Perplexity, there's Claude. There's 4 or 5 really, really big vendors that are producing most of the models that folks are going to be working with. So understanding the difference between a vendor and their models is really important as well. So with that, we're going to talk about the three types of AI. So the standalone AI tools, there's no setup. Basically, you go to ChatGPT and you're interacting directly with ChatGPT. Same thing with Google's Gemini. You are going to be interacting directly with Google's Gemini. Perplexity, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, all the same things. There's no setup. You're just interacting with the AI interface itself. So that's type of tool number one, standalone. Number two is AI integrated features. Now, everybody who's on the Zoom call today, there's actually an AI assistant in the Zoom tool. That's AI integrated features into a tool that we're using. Like the tool is Zoom, but it has AI's assistant. Gemini for Google Workspace, same thing. CoPilot for Microsoft 365. You're going to see those AI interfaces integrated with more and more products that we use as we go through. And really, any application can have AI features, and most of them do have AI tooling built into them now. So that's the difference between a standalone AI tool and AI integrated features within another application, whether it be Microsoft Word, Excel, Zoom calls, or Google Docs and Google Workspace. So, and then the third type, I want to be very, very specific here because we're going to talk about using AI tools appropriately, because there's custom AI solutions. You're going to hear this more and more called agentic AI. All that is an AI agent specifically designed to do one thing. It's an AI application tailor-made to solve a specific problem. And I'll give you a great example because I teach cybersecurity, and part of those cybersecurity learnings that I pass on is how to use defensive AI properly. And two of those, and I'm actually going to give you the QR code so you can play around with these: Malwarebytes Scam Guard and Bitdefender's Scam IO. Both of them are AI tools, but they are designed to investigate phish, scam emails, scam texts safely. And the reason why I bring that up is if you were to copy and paste a scam text and put it into Copilot, it would navigate to that site and try and interact with it just like you would normally click on it. So that's when we talk about specific AI tools. In the case of Malwarebytes Scam Guard, if you paste a malicious text into that AI, it's going to detonate it in a safe manner where it's not going to put your system at risk, but it's going to advise you going, yes, this is a malicious text, or yes, this is a malicious email. I would not interact with it. So that's the difference between custom AI or AI agents. Is if you try to put something in an AI that isn't designed specifically to do what you're asking it to do, it won't interact safely with whatever you're giving it. And I use these examples because, again, if you've got a malicious QR code and you put that into a regular AI, it's just going to navigate to whatever's on the other side of that QR code, and that's unsafe. But if you put it into like the Scam Guard or the Scam IO that are security AIs, then that's exactly what you want to do, because it will tell you what's on the other end of that QR code without actually, navigating to what's on the other end and putting you at danger. So, and then multiple healthcare systems now have AI scheduling assistants. This is what we were talking about with AI. Currently, multiple healthcare systems right now are rolling out AI schedulers because they're more efficient. They can do the job faster, and the downside is it is going to replace the human side of previously, we had medical schedulers that were humans, but AI is quickly replacing those. So those are other examples of specific custom AI solutions. So those are the three different types that you're going to be working with over the next couple of years. You probably already experienced the standalones. And I'm sure if you're in the Zoom call today, you've experienced the Zoom AI assistant, because it pops up every time now when you join a Zoom. Hey, do you want to turn the AI assistant on? And then those specific AI agents, that's what's next. So let's talk about using AI in a responsible way. And there's really only one rule that you have to follow when you're working with an AI. It's your personal information. Don't give it personal information, like your social security number, your banking information. Don't give it information that can identify you directly. The reason for that is if you put personal information into an AI system, the AI system, the owner of that system, now owns that data. So keep that in mind that if you put personal data in to an AI, that AI now owns your personal data and there's nothing you can do to get it back. So that's the one rule is don't enter personal information. Now, generalized data is fine. Like, for example, if you're trying to plan a trip from here to Las Vegas, from Longmont to Las Vegas, that's fine. That's generalized enough that it's not going to be able to pinpoint you directly. Um, so, but specific identifiable information, just don't put that into the AI. Use trusted AI systems. Here's the other thing that's really important. Only use well-known and trusted AI tools. Understand what tool is being used. You know, if you're working with Gemini, understand that that's Google. Google runs Gemini, just like CoPilot. Understand that Microsoft is running CoPilot. So understand the limits of the tool, and one of those examples is, if you don't have time to watch an hour and a half video on YouTube, you can actually give that link to Gemini, and Gemini can actually summarize and give you great, you can look at watch an hour and a half video, and it will summarize it in a few seconds so you can get the key points in a matter of seconds rather than watching the whole hour and a half video. That is possible in Gemini. However, it's not possible. Microsoft can't do that. The reason for that is because Google owns YouTube. So that's when we say understand the limits of the tool that you're trying to use. And the other thing is paid accounts versus free accounts. Now, if you're using AI that is strictly free accounts, then yes, AI is going to own your data. Whatever you type into it, that AI, that company owns your data. However, if you have a paid account, that's when you start taking control of your data. So when folks ask me, hey, should I pay for a subscription versus should I go free? I tell them it depends on what you want to do, because again, that paid account, you have more control over the data because you have an account set up and it tracks your interactions more closely, because it's tied to your account. So if you're concerned about your personal data, I would recommend going with a paid account to any AI model you're going to be using. So with that, here's the big five that I recommend, that or are, I'm going to use air quotes, safe to interact with. You've got Gemini, CoPilot, OpenAI, Claude AI, and then Zoom AI. Again, if you purchase a paid account with any of those, you still retain some rights to your personal information, that will protect you if you accidentally put in like a social security or a driver's license number for whatever reason. You do have some ability to get that deleted because it's a paid account. So keep that in mind. And then all in all, consult with someone knowledgeable. It's great to tinker, but remember rule number one of safe AI use is just be wary, be aware of what you're giving the AI. And with that, I think we've set some ground rules. So let's talk about getting started. How do we talk to AI? And this is the interesting thing that we talk about with folks about AI is, what do you mean talk to AI? And that's just it, because AI is no longer, like Googling, where, well, let's talk about it. Googling is how we used to talk to computers, but now prompting is really, it's a skill. It's understanding what a prompt is versus a Google search. So let's talk about this real quick. Googling, when we go to Google or whatever search engine, we're going to type in a sentence, and we'll give you an example here. But basically, this is how it's working. It is that narrow, that dumb AI. It's called keywords and word matching. Its search results are lists of web content, sites, documents, etc., that are mainly simply word matching. That's all it's doing. Is it doesn't give you any context. It doesn't know why you're searching for it. It's just, okay, these are the words they use. Let me give you all the information. And that's why when you do a Google search, you can have 7,000 pages of Google search results, because all it's doing is word matching. It can't comprehend the context or the why of your search. It's just going to match. So it helps you find information, and that's all it does. It will not help you summarize. for accuracy or give you specialized or specific. It will match to the best of its ability and then say, okay, here's all the data. The example is best restaurants for food allergies near me that I can take my dog to. Okay, so if you were to Google that, what it would do is it would give you some results going dog-friendly restaurants in Boulder, and then the top best allergy-friendly restaurants in Boulder. But it can't do the two because it doesn't have any context. It's saying, okay, there are two questions here. I need restaurants for food allergies and dog-friendly restaurants. It doesn't necessarily give you the context of both. So that is Googling, word matching, not really sophisticated. It's up to you to sort through the results to find the information you're looking for. Now, prompting is Googling with feeling. I mean, that's basically it. It's the more information you give to the AI, the better the results. So here's the difference is when you prompt asking the tool questions, not just searching with words, it summarizes all potential information for your question. So it reads the question and tries to guess the context. So the more information you give it in its search, the better the accuracy of the answer, and understands the context of your question. That's a huge thing. So answers are more relevant and coherent. It's not just here's 13,000 websites that might work. It can summarize large quantities of information quickly and can assist you with follow-up tasks to your responses. So with that, here is an example of, I'm going to ask AI the same question, best restaurants for food allergies near me that I can take my dog to. Okay. Now, for clarification, for transparency, I used Gemini for this. So summary versus results. So this is the thing. When you Google, it's a blob of data. It's your job to go through the responses. However, AI, if you ask the same question to AI, it gives you a really good summary that says the closest restaurant to you that caters to people with food allergies and is dog friendly is the Italian Twist. Now, this is in Longmont. And again, I didn't give it any personal information. It knows where I am based off of my profile, but it will then give me, hey, here's a map with directions. It gives me a rating. And then it also says, here's some other friendly restaurants to cater with people with food allergies and are also dog friendly in Longmont. So we've got the Roost, we've got the Pump House, we've got Smoke and Dave's, we've got the Den on the 11th. But you can already see the richness of the answer, the summary from AI versus the results in Google. The Google, when you ask Google a question, it's going to give you the sites, and then it's your job to follow along. Where AI, that's actually going to give you much nicer summarization of your question. So let's talk about the types of prompting, because this is the one thing to work with AI, you need to understand what a prompt is. Okay, now Google, as we said, it's you type a question and then you sort through the responses. Okay. Now with AI, you are going to prompt or nudge the AI to give you a summary. So let's talk about the three types of prompts that you're going to create. The first type of prompt is called a zero-shot prompt. There's no examples included in your prompt. It's simply write me a quote for my email signature. So what you're asking AI is a very broad question. I want a quote for my email signature. So it's going to come up with any multiple million possible outcomes. It has no history. It doesn't know why you're asking for this. But then we've got the second one, which is a one-shot prompt, where one example included in your prompt. So in this case, we've got write me a quote for my email signature. And then the additional context is using only poets from the 1900s. Okay, so now I want a signature, but I want this context in my signature. And then, so zero shot, one shot, and then it's called a few shot or many shot. Okay, two or more examples in your prompt. In this case, we've gone write me a quote for my email signature using only poets from the 1900s that offer positive affirmations. So now we're giving it more context of this is what I want my answer to look like. So the more information or context you give, the better the results. So if you take nothing else away from today, this is the one thing that's very interesting is your prompt with you when you interact with AI. Does anybody happen to know what the text limit is I'm curious to see it. Go ahead and write it in chat. What do you think the text limit is when you ask a question to AI? What do you think the text limit is for your question? And go ahead and drop that in chat, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see what everybody thinks going into this. But the text limit, there are some that have 10,000 character limits, some have 35,000 character limits. So your prompt can literally be a short novel to ask AI what you want it to do very, very specifically. And I'll give you a couple examples here at the end of some of the prompts that I've created that are 2,000 and 3,000 characters long because I'm asking AI to do a very specific thing. Now, we brought this topic up earlier. It's called chain of thought prompting, and that is basically is dividing a single task into more manageable steps, and this produces more accurate and consistent results. So, chain of thought. This is something that we do every day, but machines are getting much better at this. So, a standard prompt is this: create a message for my Christmas cards. Okay, and this is going to be Easter cards since we're coming up on that holiday. So that is a standard prompt. Okay, now chain of thought is different from a multi-shot where you're giving it multiple points of context. Chain of thought is like you would give an employee or a child or a friend instructions on how to do something. Okay, so chain of thought breaks the tasks into steps. So here's an example of chain of thought prompting. So in the first part of my prompt, I said, use my contact list to customize the cards using first name only. Okay. And then from there, the second part of my prompt was write a fun note with holiday wishes that is unique to each contact on my contact list. So I give it a list of names with first names only. Again, because I don't want to give all of my friends' information out to AI. So I'm only going to have it run this by first names. And then it's going to sign each one with sending love and holiday joy, Love North. Okay, so this is chain of thought where you're going to use your contact list. That's the source. And then you're going to write an individual note for everybody on that list. And then each note is going to be signed with the same signature line. So this is chain of thought, multiple steps in a single prompt. Okay. So I want you to understand the difference between a multi-shot where you're giving it a lot of context for an answer versus chain of thought where you're giving it a task with multiple steps. So let me show you what that looked like on the outset. So uploading a sanitized contact list. Again, I just gave it the first name of my friends list. AI, it took seconds to generate these messages, and they were all, I could copy and paste them or do whatever I wanted with them. But AI generated, here's a personalized holiday note for each of your contact list. It went through and it separated them out, gave 1 to 2 sentences for Christmas cards. It was super fast. So this is an example of chain of thought prompting, giving it a complex list of instructions. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to go to your Google Pod or your Alexa and tried to do something chain of thought where it's multiple steps, but Alexa's usually it short circuits and goes, sorry, I can't help you with that previously. But as the AI proliferates, as it gets better, we're actually going to be able to ask our Alexa or our Google or our HomePods to be able to do complex chain of thought requests. So let's talk about identifying the limits of AI here real quick, because this is really important. Biases. Everybody's like, well, AI is biased. And that's true. AI can only provide information based off of its training data.
This is live.
This is live. It is live. Thanks, Bobsy. Oh, Bobsky's here. Fantastic. Good to see you.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So biases, AI can only provide information based off of its training data. So here's a tip for you. If you want to know what the limitation of the AI is, you can actually type this in. Remember this. What is the cutoff date for your training data? So if you're concerned, am I getting the latest data? I'm going to challenge you. Type that phrase, prompt the model that you're using. What is the cutoff date for your training data? And it will tell you my training data, the information that I've got to learn from was cut off on this date. And it will tell you exactly what data it's drawing from, because anything after that date, it has to learn from interactions. because the hard data that it's learning from, if you're looking for, give me facts off the latest news, it may not have it because its training data may have been, from September 2026 or September 2025. So that's a really good question to ask the AI that you're using. What is the cutoff date of your training data? Okay, the other thing is hallucinations. I think they're changing it to a much more friendly word. I think it's confabulations, because that just rolls off the tongue versus hallucinations. But basically, what that is it's factually inaccurate results. So this is where rule number 2 comes in. Rule number 1 is be mindful of the data you're giving the AI. And the rule number 2 is double check the results. You still have to human moderate the results, especially if it's a high stakes task. If you're asking for, hey, write me a contract for whatever purpose, like if you have a rental property, write me a sample contract. Or if you're like, hey, roughly calculate my tax return. You're not going to give it social security number. You can give it numbers, but you're going to want to double check that because it's considered a high stake activity that you're giving AI. And we still do want to make sure that we are doing that human moderation. And also understand the tool versus model. The AI model is the engine that makes the car go. The app or the tool is the vehicle itself. And so, for example, the AI tool, we'll use Zoom as an example. Zoom is the app or tool, it's the vehicle. And the AI model that runs that application, that is the engine. So that's another way to look at the tool versus the model, the AI model versus the AI tool. Now, again, we talked about specific design. AI accomplishes specific tasks based off of its design. Like, for example, you can't go to an LLM, a large language model that works specifically for speech and audio. You can't ask an LLM to do image or photo or video. Now, the caveat to that, like ChatGPT, for example, both Gemini and ChatGPT, you can ask either of those models to generate an image, but it's not actually ChatGPT. It's actually going to be that DALL-E engine. So it's tied together. So there are some like Claude, for example. If you're using the free version of Claude, it will only do text. It can't do image. It can't do image generation. So make sure that what you're looking for, you're using the right type of AI tool for the goal. So that's just if you're interacting with an AI and it says, "I'm sorry, I can't do that," then there's the limit of that AI tool. You may need to look at another one. So, and then again, moderate. Always check your results of any AI tool, especially with those high stakes tasks you're asking it for. Just because as good as AI is, it still does need that human moderator. So, top tools to get started with. I dropped 4 or 5 here that are 6 that are really good. CoPilot built into Microsoft Edge browser. Here in a moment, I'm going to bring up both browsers and show you how to interact with the AI on the browsers. That's the main browsers, the Edge and the Chrome. Gemini is built into Chrome. In fact, that's going to be the demo model that we're using today for all of our prompting we're going to do here in a minute. And then standalone AI powered chatbots, things like OpenAI, where you're going to go to OpenAI, interact directly with the chatbot. And that's, again, one of the things that we're going to do here. So you've got Copilot, Gemini, Sora 2, which is a fantastic audio video content. It's run by OpenAI, but it's an app that you download on your phone. And Bobsky and I are going to be demoing that at length at the beginning when we talked about the very small amount of training data you have to give it. Read 3 numbers, look left, look right. Sora, that's all you need to create video content with you as the star. So Sora 2, a lot of fun to work with. Zoom, yeah, during your next Zoom call, turn on your AI moderator and it's going to take all the notes while you're watching. It will take all the notes for you, and then at the end of it, it'll give you a summary. And then Perplexity. Perplexity is one that we've started working with, powerful AI that can help search the web. Perplexity that's what it's designed for, is to do really good deep searches for internet browsing, for internet searches. So Perplexity is one that I recommend if you want to really get the most out of web searches. play around with perplexity. It's really interesting. Now, this is one of the other new slides. If you want more information, seniorplanet.org/AI has a lot of information. We're gonna take a jump here. Wow, that was almost seamless like I planned it. Here's actually the Google website. So when you land on this page, it's going to be virtual AI resources. It's got all sorts of upcoming classes, but more importantly, it's got a guidebook for older adults. You can read and download the guide here, click on the link, and it will take you to a PDF, and you can actually download the entire report. So if you want to read at your own pace, you can do that. So with that, let's do this here real quick. I think we're going to get some hands-on here. So let's do some real life prompting today. No, we are not. Pay no attention to the slide. Open your Chrome browser, and we're going to click AI mode. So clearly I did this slide late last night, but we're going to open our Chrome browsers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and click AI mode. Okay. And that is going to take us directly into Gemini. So that's how easy it is. So what we're going to do today, for those of you that are interested in how AI works, I'm going to do some multi-shot prompts, and I'm going to do some pretty complex prompting. So we've got 10 prompts that we're going to go through today that you can start with. And the first one is explain AI to me like I'm 10 years old. Okay. It's a one shot. I mean, actually, it's two. Explain AI and then explain it to me in a simple format. And it's going to give us, hey, here's how it works. It's going to give me master learner. Practice makes perfect. It's your invisible helper. The big difference is things that we talked about. So if you want AI to teach you about what AI is, you can actually go to an AI model of your choice and explain it to me like I'm 10 years old. Okay, so let's do this one. We're going to do help me create a meal for dinner tonight. And then I'm going to tell it I only have hamburger, cream of mushroom soup, and spaghetti noodles. Okay, so I'm asking for it to be creative. Help me pick something. Here in a few seconds later, it's going to come back and it's going to say, hey, prep the pasta, brown the meat, make the sauce, combined. And it's kid-friendly tips. So it gives us pretty quick and easy. It's a creamy ground beef and mushroom pasta, or poor man's beef stroganoff. So within a matter of seconds, it gave me not only cooking instructions, but also said, hey, if you have tips, or if you have kids, here's some tips for the kids. So one that I use frequently for different reasons is I ask it to summarize today's headlines from all the major news sites. Okay. Now this is interesting because it's like I want a summary of today's headlines and I want it from all the major news sites. So that's a big ask. So let's see what it comes back with. So here it is. Here's the summary, top national news headlines. And this is what I like about it is it gives us summaries, but it also gives us specific websites. So we can, if there's something specific that we want to look at, we can actually jump to that site because it links the sites. So summarization is really powerful. I use that in my job every day to summarize the news. Let me see here. I'm going to do this one is kind of a play on the holiday note, but in this case, I'm creating a thank you note for my granddaughter who is 6, thanking her for her handmade drawing she made for me. So literally within half a second, it gave me just a short little note. And again, obviously it's like, okay, put your granddaughter's name here, put your name here, but here's a quick note. And you can copy and paste it, or you can customize it, but it helped write that note very quickly. So there's 4 examples. Let's see here. Let's test it to see what it's capable of. So we're in Google. Let's see here. We're going to copy this. I know that Google uses Nano Banana. Such a great name for an image editor. But when you ask Google to create images, it's going to tell you what it's using. So here we go. We're going to paste this, create an image of a dog riding a unicorn and make it realistic. Here we go. So here it is using Nano Banana, generating image with Nano Banana. So that is the AI model it's using. And it's usually going to take a moment for it to, so there we go. It's a golden retriever riding a unicorn. Now, you can actually make an adjustment, make the dog, my favorite dog, a corgi. So just like that, it will take previously what you put, riding a unicorn, but this time I want it to be a corgi. And so it may take a second. So while it's doing that, I'm going to grab the next prompt to give you an example. There we go. See, so now it went from here, golden retriever, to, oh my gosh, here it is, a corgi in a matter of seconds. So yay, AI is so fantastic for creating. If you can imagine it, AI can create it. So with that, let's go to the next one. This is an example of what Netflix or what Amazon Video is going to do. Um, so in this case, I'm looking for something to watch tonight. And I want to watch a movie with, here we go. I want to watch a movie about that involves ghosts and stars Michael J. Fox. Can you recommend a movie in those two themes? And they may come back with a couple of different options. You can give it just an actor, and it's going to summarize. Okay, The Frighteners in 1996. There's a movie, and that's the only one that it could find across all of the internet that had to do with ghosts and Michael J. Fox. So, again, the prompt, it wasn't that looking for a thriller movie involving ghosts and stars Michael J. Fox. So you've got a multi-shot prompt here, giving it more details. Now, this is the big one. I'm going to give you this prompt because when we say your prompt can be as busy as you want it, again, your text limit is between 10 and 35,000 characters. But here is the prompt. Okay, I'm planning a trip. So here's what I want. You're a travel planner. So this is something that Bobsky and I are going to be teaching at our AI class this summer, is how to really harness the power of AI. And this is called AIM prompting, where you give it an action, intent, and mission. So you're a travel planner. So I'm telling AI what it is. Please plan a 3-day trip from Longmont, Colorado to the Grand Canyon. We'll be driving and we'll need to stop for gas and hotels for the night. Create a list of activities during our stay. So again, I've given it quite a bit here. Let's see how long it takes for it to come up with a travel plan for us. And still thinking. Now, again, the more detailed the prompt, the longer it's going to take to come back. So here it's saying, okay, day one, Longmont to Moab for 6 hours, 360 miles, tells me the route. Here's the guy, you want to gas up in Glenwood Springs, overnight stay in Moab. Day two, drive time 5.5 hours. We're going to go head south, and then it's going to take us to the Kenta, Arizona, where we're going to refill. So this is what makes AI very, very powerful, is it can be whatever you want it to be. You just have to tell it what it is, and it's going to give you answers. Now, through this, we're actually going to go through and we're going to look at this map, and we're going to fact check to make sure, because we want to make sure that we're not going to end up in a field somewhere in Moab, so we are going to fact check. We're going to vet the information AI has given us, but this is going to actually give us an idea of how we're going to get there. And then it's saying, hey, there's a Desert View Watchtower. Here's some activities while you're there. You've got the Yavaki Geology Museum, the Rim Trail, and the Grand Canyon Railway. So again, my prompt was 3 or 4 sentences long, and it gave me all the details within a few seconds. Now, I'm going to, we talked about translation. Let me see here. We've already done that one. Let me grab this one here real quick. So literally any language to any language. You can copy and paste your query from any language into any other language. So in this case, I'm going to tell it, hey, I got this sentence. What does it mean? So I want to translate that sentence into English. So a few seconds later, bada bing, bada boom, we sprinkle a little bit of magic dust and here we go. Um, uh, they say, so the translation is North is the best instructor and should get a raise or at least an extra box of cookies. So that, again, you can translate any language into English or translate English into any other language. You just have to tell it because, again, LLM, large language model, has a mastery of most languages in the world. So here's and I'm gonna get pull the curtain back on SCC tech support when we have folks that are, hey, how do I fix this? How do I do this? Um, I'm actually going to show you a little bit about some of the powers of AI, and we're going to talk about how, if you've got a challenge with your computer, how-to guides are extremely powerful. And I know that in my day-to-day job, the tech world is so massive that it's hard to know all the answers. So you can actually query AI on how to find answers to common tech problems. I wouldn't go too deep because, again, there are some things that, professional help is the best way to go. But how do I change the font size on my Windows 10 computer? It should be Windows 11 now, but you ask this question, and a few seconds later, it will come back and say, okay, well, here's how you do it. Method one, make only text bigger. Method two, make everything bigger, and then some quick tips. So it will actually give you multiple answers to the questions that you ask it. So if you're trying to solve a problem, you can actually prompt AI because it's not just going to give you answers, but it's also going to give you links to those answers. And here's the other important thing about AI at this point is AI is unable to provide sponsored results. So if AI is going to give you links, they're going to be links to the actual answers from within the prompt. So that is one of the safe things about AI is when you prompt AI, the results are truly, truly going to be results that you can count on. So let me jump back over here real quick. Demo time is done for now. I do want to show you some AI tools for cyber defense because, it wouldn't be an AI presentation if I didn't give some safety for AI. Now, Malwarebytes Scam Guard, we talked about this earlier. It's found in the Malwarebytes mobile app that you can download on Apple or Google Play. It's free, but you install this app and it's an AI that you can interact with. You can copy and paste text messages, take pictures of QR codes, and upload it into the security AI to help you defend against, hey, is this a malicious text or is this a malicious phishing email? Is this QR code safe? So one of the tools that's online, again, download it in the app. It's free to use. And then the other one is the AI tools for defense. It's Bitdefender Scam IO. It can be used in multiple ways, but the website, if you just Google Bitdefender Scam IO, you can use it in Facebook Messenger. You can use it as a standalone app if you use WhatsApp. But these are two AI tools that you can use right now. They're free to play around with. Okay, is that QR code that I'm about to scan, is it safe? Hey, is this text message safe? Is the link on the other side safe? So two free tools that you can play with. Again, Malwarebytes Scam Guard and Bitdefender Scam IO. So with that, let's talk about some questions. We talked about going to Senior Planet to take a look at the AI classes and documentation they have there. AI is a complex topic that's growing and changing faster than any of us, any other technology in human history. It is definitely going to be an interesting future, but let's do this. Let's open up the floor to some questions. Do we have any questions in chat? Let me check chat here. Or if you have, let's see here, 4K 10,000. That's some good guesses about the text limit of an AI prompt. One of the questions here is if you have Office 365, is CoPilot the paid AI? So that is a very, very good question. So if you have a membership, if you purchase the yearly Office 365 personal, the question is, do you have a free or a paid AI account? The answer to that is yes, as long as you are logged into your product. Now, again, when you can't really log into Excel, PowerPoint, Word, any of the I'm going to turn my camera on here. You can't log into any of the Microsoft products, or you can't access any of them unless you log in. So once you're logged in on your account, then yes, you are tying into that paid account. Now, again, Microsoft CoPilot is actually powered by OpenAI. So there are some protections there if you have an Open 365 or an AI, excuse me, Microsoft 365 account. There are some protections on your data there because it is a paid account, no longer just the free account, as if you were to go to Microsoft Edge and just hit Copilot and not log in. So yes, so that does fall under the paid category. Yes, Christina, so you have a question.
Yeah, I had a question. I just want to make sure I have the the areas right. So you were talking about LLMs, models, and engines. Are all those the same kind of thing? And the tools are the access to those different engines or models.
So really, really good question. So again, talking about the difference between tools and models. Let me do this one more time. We're going to come back over here, and we are now, if you go to Google, we're going to hit home again and you hit AI mode. Right now, you're just in the Google search engine, but if you hit AI mode, you are then dealing with Gemini. This is the interface for the AI model. This is no longer a tool because you're directly interacting with the AI. Okay, this goes for Copilot, this goes for Gemini, this goes for ChatGPT. Okay, now the difference is, now let's hit the home button again. So here I am looking at Google, and let's do a search for movies starring Tommy Lee Jones. That's going to be a long list. Okay. Here, this is still Google. It is AI augmented, meaning this is Google, this is the search engine. It's going to give me a list. If I come down here, you can see that the AI overview. So this is the AI portion of it. But if you scroll past, then you're still going to get down to the Google results. So that's the difference between interacting directly with the AI versus an AI augmented tool. Like in,
Okay, I
yeah.
actually had a different I mean, I wanted to make sure I had the verbiage right, but I'm thinking about like designing products and say designing a manufacturing line and kind of real like it seems like AI is very focused, at least the type that we know is very focused on human. And
Mhm.
are there sort of large language models or kind of the engines that would support different um, problems that you may have or environments you want to solve?
Absolutely. So I understand the question now. Where can I go? If I understand the question correctly, where can I go to get the appropriate model for a specific problem I'm trying to solve? Meaning you're looking for a specific AI model designed to do a specific thing. Is that correct?
Right, right. Like some of the problems you might have in industry or coming up with a new design for a cutting tool or something like that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so there are actually libraries online. Claude AI is one. I would start with Claude AI. I would prompt Claude saying, "Hey, what are some model names that are specifically designed to solve this problem?" And tell it the problem that you're having. And Claude AI can actually point you in the direction of, because I'm not, sorry, Perplexity is really good at that. Claude is also very good at that. But Perplexity, if you prompt Perplexity and say, "Hey, I need an AI model specifically designed to solve this problem," tell it what problem it is, and it will be able to identify and tell you, point you in the right direction of which model you should be basing your design off of. Because I think currently there's something like 45,000 different types of AI models out there, growing by the day to solve specific problems. So I would actually use AI to figure out which models are best out there to meet the need you're looking for. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, so we mean like as the general public, we might know about some things, but there may be some to make, airplane assemblies more efficient or something like that, that we don't, we wouldn't
Right.
need to interact with. But the industries out there, when they talk about using AI, they may be, what do you talk, feeding them or
Correct.
teaching them initially.
Yeah, and for the point of this class, I mean, this is really fascinating, but it's far outside the scope of just basic end user use of AI.
Right.
But in
Well,
your
that's,
case, yeah, you're looking for very specific AI functionality that the information is out there. You
well,
just
I'm
need to
not
figure.
personally looking for it. What I wanted to know is when they talk about different, like a industry, using AI, they're not actually making movies or something. Well, maybe they are, but there's a lot of different industries that are doing way other things with it than just, like the things that you highlighted. That's what
For
I
sure.
curious.
Gotcha. Yeah, and there again, I can give you because again, I work in the medical industry, and there's 5 or 6 models that I know of that have a specific name that are only designed to do specific things. So if you're curious, hey, what AI models are used in aerospace, or what AI models are used to help speed up manufacturing? Those are great questions to answer, to ask, to prompt the AI to find out what specific, because the big ones that we use are that CoPilot, that Gemini, the ChatGPT. Those are the end user ones, the ones that we're going to be interacting with the most. But yeah, each industry has their own collection of AI models that are only designed to do their little world very, very specifically.
Thank
And
you very
yeah,
much.
so yeah, the only limit is your curiosity and what you want to know. AI is very, very good resource for pretty much anything you want to know. So thanks for the great question, Christine. All right. Are there any other questions? Because we're a little bit over time today. But was there anything else? Let me get one more slide here. We have one more slide here. If you have any questions, we've got, you can reach out to me directly. There's my email. There's my office phone number. And there's the contact for the SCTC. If you've got questions, again, Bobsky and I are going to be putting together a presentation in April where he and I are going to look at AI concepts from a different perspective, where he and I are going to be presenting together. It's going to be an in-person class. And basically, the concept and the framework is we're going to be looking at AI from 2 different perspectives. And we're really going to help you understand how to get the most out of AI, because this is an introductory class today on what it is, where it's going, and how do I use it. But that presentation with Bobsky and I later this year, the in-person one, I highly recommend you join that, because that is really going to be a dive into what's possible with AI right now using a lot of the tools that we named today. And we're going to be doing it interactive. I'll be presenting my perspective, and then he's going to be presenting his perspective. But we're really going to talk about how you can become an AI, if not an expert, but at least proficient in AI within 90 minutes to a 2-hour presentation. So highly recommend if you can make it to that class. But with that, that's all I have today. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you in the next class.